I love being outside, especially in the elements, the warm elements. It just feels like home. I know a lot of people feel good in the comfort of their homes, but this just being outside in the environment next to trees and nature that feels that feels like home to me. I said I wanted to start being a little more consistent with sharing my thoughts. And I went through this long phase of not wanting to share because I wanted to make sure that I said everything right, that I wouldn't offend people, that I wouldn't ramble, that I would be adding value to people without coming off preachy or teachy or whatever you want to call it. And all those mindsets kept holding me back. Oh, my hair got to be done. Oh, I got to make sure I got my eyelashes and my makeup on. I was giving myself so many excuses. And as I was giving myself excuses, I was getting full. I was getting full of my own shit, full of my own thoughts, full of my own expertise. I was like hoarding information. And then I would see a so-called guru or someone who is new to a conversation, an idea, a thought, and they would market it or sell it, right? And I couldn't be upset about it because I didn't share. I didn't share what I was thinking or feeling. I would just hoard it all. And even now, since ChatGPT, AI has come out, it's almost gotten a little worse because now I could expand and share my ideas in this platform, and the way my mind works, it can keep going and keep building and getting bigger and bigger, right? And all the time, it's not being executed. So I have topics, I have systems and frameworks and things that I've built, but I just keep rebuilding and building new ones and fresh ones, and um, which is good because I'm a natural creative. But they need to be executed. One thing that I realized over a long time, a lot of my years, is that spiritually I've been called to do some things, and I battled with some um, with some strongholds. I'll say I want to call them like generational curses and stuff like that. But I struggled with some things that would would capture my voice or muffle me, not because I was afraid, but it's almost the opposite. I was afraid of like hurting people with truth. And truth to me is your truth, right? I don't debate with people about their experiences because I don't expect them to debate with me about my experiences. But I do understand that my experience has been that I'm seeing the word a lot now. Now I'm having a lot more language for who I am and how I work because I'm so organic and innate of what I do and who I am that I'd had a language for some of these things. I used to always say it's like trying to capture air, bottle it, and brand it. You know, that's challenge. um, but I would the truth and what I would notice other people would go through, as far as I would see patterns because I move around. I don't stay in a bubble. I don't just stay in one space and be around one race or you know I, I I move around, and I've always been like that, right? Like if I see something that's interesting to me, I want to know more. I want to find out about it, even if it's not anything that I'm interested in at the time. I want to know what's around me. Everything belongs to God, my belief, And so I'm not afraid of too many things. I want to know what's around me. But as time went on, like I said, I started to just get overload of information, right? I've been to school, I've taken classes, I've been in programs, I've worked multiple businesses, and the average human being would say, "Oh, you're doing too much," or "You don't know what you want to do," or "What's next?" And they can almost sometimes say it as a joke, but to me, I was like, this is life for me, right? I'm not judging somebody who stay in a career for over 30 years and wear their hairstyle the same since high school, or um, you know, married their high school sweetheart or college sweetheart and never got to experience life outside of that, lived in the same location, or you know what I mean? Like, I don't judge people because of the decisions that they made, because I know we all have to be responsible for our stuff. And so I expect the same with me, right? I live how I live. I move how I move. And it's not for entertainment. It's just who I am. It's my journey. Um, and I pretty much don't ask for much from anyone, because I know where all my resources, I know where all my guides, I know where my greatness and my goodness and my health and I know where it comes from, and it's not another human being. So I'm just kind of chilling right now. You know, it feels good to have this time with the people. And I know one thing, it was challenging for me to have these kind of chats, conversations, because I'm used to feedback. Like, I feed off of having a one-on-one kind of conversation with somebody who's maybe going through something, dealing with something, trying to figure something out. So when I talk um, just to a camera, it's interesting for me because I'm not sure what you need. And I need to be relevant, and I need to add value and not just talk just to be talking. So my Holy Spirit has been telling me that relax on being a control freak. It's not funny, but those are some things you have to accept when you do inventory on yourself. When you look in the mirror and you really start going back in your life and seeing who you are and how you actually react, or who you have became. Sometimes you may find things that you didn't know that you were, or you don't like what you have become, or ways you have, and that's all okay. It's part of the journey. I know what I do is learn from it and try to be better. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of times who we are is just who we are. Now, if it's mean and rude and disrespectful, I think definitely it could be changed, because we're not geared for that. But life is like precious, and it's abundant, and it's freaking beautiful. Like, our bodies are made so uniquely beautiful that it's hard to have bad days, even in bad situations. I could be going through storms, literally in the middle of a storm, and still find some grace and some peace, because I remember who runs all of this, and it's not me. So a lot of times I have to get to the point, I have to remind myself to just surrender to what's happening around me, and not try to hold on so tight and fix everything and help everybody. I was doing that and didn't even realize that I was doing it. Now I've made it a business, and the goal is to add value in other people's lives and maybe help them not go through some of the obstacles that I went through. They can still go through their own obstacles, but they don't have to go through mind, and especially when it comes to business. I think I'm really good at being able to tell you what not to do, right? Because most people give you this um, song and dance, this hope about business like it's just easy or all you have to do is. And I think people should be prepared. See, mistakes. Got to get a real tripod. This is too weak. But anyway, um, I think individuals should be prepared in um, what they may be getting themselves into, so they can really take serious inventory on if it's something that they would like to do, or versus getting thrown into something. And it's always fun and easy, maybe the first year or so, and then things really start happening. And if your foundation is not correct, if you don't start off with systems in place and things like that, it's easy to get off. I know back in the day they used to always talk about business plans and goals and all that, and I think for the time that was probably the best advice. And nothing really changes, it's all the same, and goals and systems definitely are important, but your purpose is probably the main thing that's going to keep you in the game. What is your purpose? Because if without that, you'll get scattered, you'll get frustrated, you'll get overwhelmed, you'll get burnt out, all those things. And I find that even for me, practically to today, when I start to feel like I'm burnt out, or I'm not being fulfilled in what I do, I go back to my purpose. And going back to my purpose, it reminds me of going to a convention in your industry, and you're like, okay, I didn't think of that. You kind of get refreshed again when you hear about new ideas and new ways of doing things, new products, new services, meet new people. You begin to, you're ready to go back to work and try some of the new things. And we have to do that sometimes without the convention. We have to just take that upon ourselves to say, okay, let me start fresh next week and figure out what I can do different to help me enjoy what I do. Let me get back to the purpose of why I do what I do. And even in that, sometimes it might mean eliminating some things. Eliminate some things and some people and some places that you just naturally have been gravitating to because that was part of what you did when you needed to do it back in the day or back then. But now, things are actually a little easier. We just have conditioned ourselves to make things harder because, a lot of the programming that's been around and about. But now that we know better, we do better. So if that means that you have to change some things and go in and restructure the business, or restructure your relationship, restructure, the way you have your house decorated and designed, and, to enjoy it again, consider that, because sometimes it's easier to restructure than to start all over again thinking it's better on the other side. The other side could just be moving the couch on the other side of the room, or eliminating a program or a service that's not serving you, or removing yourself from an environment that you realize you just have been conditioned in, and the people are really not your friends, right? So yeah, so that was about a little bit of everything. And as I build, as I move, as I change, as I grow, as I evolve, um, stay tuned, and maybe we can do it together. Call me, text me, email me if you like to work one-on-one with me. That's my purpose.